In the spotlight tonight is Brent Peeling from Billericay, a financial analyst. His specialist subject is the history of Essex County Cricket Club. Christopher Argyle from Swadlincote, Derbyshire, an author. His subject, British tank development from 1915. Jim Averill from Lichfield, a postman. His subject is Paul McCartney. And Primrose Wood from Torbay, a retired physiotherapist whose subject is British mammals. Hello, I'm John Humphreys and welcome to Mastermind, the contest that tests knowledge under extreme pressure. Our contenders get two opportunities to show how much they know. First, 2 minutes on their specialist subject and then another 2 minutes on general knowledge. The winner of this contest will go through to the next round with a chance to win the highly coveted glass bowl and, far more importantly, the title of Mastermind. So, let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Brent Peeling.
And your occupation?
Financial analyst.
And your chosen subject?
The history of Essex County Cricket Club.
Essex County Cricket Club in 2 minutes starting now. Which was the first season that Essex played after they had moved to their new headquarters at Chelmsford?
1934.
1967. Essex were able to buy the freehold of the ground in New Writtle Street thanks to a loan from which county's supporters association?
Warwickshire.
Correct. A keen Southend United supporter took over as Secretary and General Manager of Essex at the start of 1979. Who was he?
Peter Edwards.
He was. Which spin bowler took 17 wickets for 119 against Hampshire in 1895? Still the best match analysis for the county.
Walter Mead.
Yes. Which Essex player won a gold medal boxing at middleweight at the 1908 London Olympics?
Johnny Douglas.
Yes. Which Essex batsman was already a clergyman when he made his debut for the county in 1903 and in 1927 broadcast the first ever BBC cricket commentary?
The Reverend Frank Gillingham.
Yes. Although Essex had a week at Leighton every year from 57 till 77, in which year did the ground cease to be the county's main home venue?
1933.
It was. What was the family relationship between the all-rounders Ray and Peter Smith?
They were cousins.
They were. At which ground did the Australian tourists score 721 in a day against Essex in 1948?
South Church Park, Southend.
Yes. Wicket-keeper Brian Taylor, who captained the club from 1967 to 73, was known by what nickname?
Tonka.
Yes. On the 15th of May 66, Essex became the first county to host a first-class game on a Sunday when they played which county at Valentine's Park, Ilford?
Somerset.
It was. Who made his county debut in 73 and went on to score the county's highest individual innings in all three major one-day competitions?
Graham Gooch.
Yes. Which bowler made his Essex debut in 1980 while still in the sixth form at school?
Neil Foster.
Yes. Who scored a century on his first-class debut in 78 but only scored 2 more in his other 119 matches for the county?
Alan Lilly.
It was. In 1983, when Surrey were dismissed by Essex for an innings total of 14, the wickets were shared by Neil Foster and which other bowler?
Norbert Phillip.
Correct. In 1986, which Essex all-rounder... I've started, so I shall finish. Which Essex all-rounder became the first player to reach the double of 3,000 runs and 300 wickets in Sunday League matches?
Stuart Turner.
Stuart Turner, it was. And Brent Peeling, you had no passes. You have scored 15 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Christopher Argyle.
Your occupation?
Author.
And your chosen subject?
British tank development from 1915.
British tanks, in 2 minutes, starting now. Who is widely regarded as the pioneer of tank development, having seen a whole tractor towing guns on the Western Front during the First World War?
Swinton.
Correct. Which infantry tank built from 1936 was so named for its duck-like gait and appearance?
Matilda.
Yes. What was the name of the 100-ton shell-proof tank which the British had abandoned by early 1917, partly on the grounds of excessive cost?
Pass.
Which tank designed by Lieutenant Colonel Johnson was the last British tank design of the First World War and incorporated a wire rope track system with articulated shoes?
Mark 8.
The medium D. Which firm, which manufactured the light armoured vehicles Marks 1 to 6, was taken over by Vickers in 1928?
Carden Lloyd.
Correct. What was the main feature of the Mark 3 Valentine that distinguished it from the Mark 2?
6-pounder.
No, it was a three-man turret. What was the name of the commander of the Tank Corps who put forward the initial proposal that led to the development of the Matilda tank?
Ellis.
Correct. Which company manufactured the Stormer armoured personnel carrier adopted by the British Army in the 1980s?
Vickers.
Yes. The Churchill Mark 7s, which had flame-throwing equipment attached to them, were known by what animal name?
Crocodile.
Correct. Built by Vickers in the mid-20s, what was the name of the experimental A1E1 tank, which was innovative at the time for having 5 rotating turrets?
Independent.
Correct. Never used in action, what name was given to the A13 Mark III tank, the predecessor of the Crusader?
Can't remember.
The acronym TOGS is one of the main features of the Challenger 2 tank. For what does it stand?
Thermal observation guidance.
No, thermal observation and gun system. In the classifying... I've started the question just, so I'll finish. In the classifying system for British tanks, which alphanumerical designation was given to the Comet?
A34.
The A34 it was. You had 2 passes, Christopher Argyle. Never used in action. That tank was the Covenanter. And the 100-ton shell-proof tank was abandoned. It was the Flying Elephant. Christopher Argyle, you have 8 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Jim Averill.
Your occupation?
Postman.
And your chosen subject?
The life and music of Sir Paul McCartney.
In 2 minutes, starting now, which school did Paul McCartney attend from 1953 to 58, often travelling there with George Harrison?
Stockton Road.
Liverpool Institute. On the 31st of October 83, Paul released his follow-up to the Tug of War album. What was its title?
Pipes of Peace.
It was. Which song on Give My Regards to Broad Street did Paul write after dreaming that the Rolling Stones sang it?
No Values.
Yes. Which local band played pipes and drums on the Mull of Kintyre single?
The Campbell Town.
Yes. Who was best man when Paul married Linda at Marylebone Registry Office on the 12th of March 1969?
His brother Michael.
Yes. What was the name of the yacht on board which the London Town album was partly recorded while Paul and his family were holidaying in the American Virgin Islands?
The Fair Carol.
Yes. What was the title of Paul's first solo single released in February 71 that reached number 2 the following April?
Another Day.
Yes. Linda's parents changed their name to Eastman, but what was their original surname, which coincidentally had strong Beatles connections?
Epstein.
Yes. Auntie Gin's Theme was the original working title of which song on the Beatles' Help album?
Pass.
The National Trust purchased the house where Paul had lived from 1955 to 64 after being notified by John Burt, then Director General of the BBC, that it was for sale. On which road was it?
Fourth Lynn.
Yes. Which song written by Joe Green and popularised in the UK by Jerry and the Pacemakers is the final track on the Tripping the Live Fantastic album?
How do you do it?
Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying. What was the title of Wings' first single on Columbia Records, released in March 79, that was also the first to feature Steve Holley and Lawrence Juba?
Good Night Tonight.
Yes. Under what name did Paul and Youth release the Strawberries, Oceans, Ships, Forest album of ambient dance music in November 93?
The Fireman.
Yes. Paul introduced himself to Linda at which club in Kingly Street, London, on the 15th of May 67, where Linda had gone to watch Georgie Fame perform?
Bag of Nails.
Yes. On the Wildlife album by Wings, which Everly Brothers hit from 1965 was the only song not written by Paul?
Cathy's Clown.
No Love Is Strange. Paul broke the world attendance record for a rock... I've started, so I shall finish. Paul broke the world attendance record for a rock concert on the 21st of April 1990 with 184,000 people at which stadium?
The King Dome.
No, the Maracana Stadium. You had 1 pass there, Jim Averill. Auntie Jim's Theme was the original working title of I've Just Seen a Face, which now, of course, you know. 1 pass. You have scored, though, 11 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Primrose Wood.
Your occupation?
I'm a retired physiotherapist.
And your chosen subject?
British mammals.
British mammals, 2 minutes starting now. The mountain hare is sometimes known as the white hare because of its winter coat. The appearance of its summer coat gives it what other name?
The blue hare.
Correct. Although they eat slugs and insect larvae, what is the principal diet of the mole?
Earthworms.
It is. Which pig with a distinctive reddish-brown coat and named after a Staffordshire town is reckoned to be the oldest pure English breed?
Tamworth.
Yes. Crossidura rusula is only found in the British Isles on the islands of Alderney, Guernsey and Herm. How is it commonly known?
It's the white-toothed shrew.
It is. Living mainly in open woodland with water nearby, which species of bat is named after an 18th century French naturalist?
Beckstein.
No, Dobantons. Generally black at both ends with a distinctively white band around their middle. Which breed of cattle is named after the area of southwest Scotland where they originated?
Belted Galloway.
Yes, most of which species of deer now living in the wild in Britain are descended from a stag and 3 hinds imported by Viscount Powerscroft in the 1850s for his estate in the Wicklow Mountains.
Seeker.
Correct. Halicoirus grippus, which translates from the Greek as hook-nosed sea pig, is the scientific name of which British mammal?
The grey seal.
Yes. Which baleen whale, which has a Latin-specific name meaning sharp-snouted, is the most common whale species in British waters, particularly in Scotland?
Pass.
From the wool of which breed of sheep believed to have been introduced into Britain from Spain in the 16th century was Joseph's coat of many colours supposed to have been made?
The Jacob sheep.
Yes. In 1971, Philip and Jean Ware founded a charity whose main aim is to promote the conservation of which animal, particularly in Britain?
Otter.
Yes. Which nature reserve near Kinlochew, the first national nature reserve in Britain, is home to many rare animals, including pine martens and wildcats?
Pass.
Which island between South Uist and Barra in the Outer Hebrides has its own breed of pony?
Oh, what's it called? I can't think.
Well, I shall tell you because that will then we'll say it was one of your passes. It was Eriskay. Your other.
Yes, I was going to say that.
You what a pity. It's always worth a try.
Always
Worth a try. Your other 2 passes were the nature reserve near Kinlochew is Ben A, and the baleen whale with that Latin-specific name is the minke whale. 3 passes in total. Primrose Wood, a score of 9 points. And that brings us to the end of our first round, the specialist subject. So let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 8, Christopher Argyle. 3rd place with 9, Primrose Wood. 2nd place, 11, Jim Averill. In the lead with 15 points, Brent Peeling. So we move to round 2 now, our general knowledge round, and if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes will be taken into account, and the contender with the fewest number of passes will be declared the winner. So let's get on with the general knowledge round. Let me ask Christopher Argyle to join us again, if you would, please. And you scored 8 with your knowledge of tanks, and I was...
My limited knowledge of tanks.
On the contrary, 8 is a remarkable... This is a difficult subject. Now, tell me this, why do so many, nearly all British tanks, begin with the letter C? I was looking at the list, the Covenanter, the Churchill, all sorts of them, beginning with...
Well, most of them were cruiser tanks, were fast, medium tanks, yes. The Churchill was an infantry tank, but which was an exception, but the Centurion originally was a cruiser tank, but later it was a
So they're all given the letter C
tank.
because they were cruisers?
Yes.
Aha, right.
And the cruisers had the special suspension invented by Christie, who was an American automotive genius.
Well, you scored 8 points with your knowledge of tanks, as we say. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes on that, starting now. Rebecca Stevens was the first British woman to achieve which feat in May 93?
Climb Everest.
Correct. Which British trade union established in 1929 for members of the acting profession was later extended to include performers in most fields of entertainment?
Equity.
Yes. Whose last play, first performed posthumously in 1969, was called What the Butler Saw?
Joe Orton.
Yes. Who, in a speech to the Labour Party conference in 1957 opposing unilateral nuclear disarmament, said, if you carry this resolution, you will send Britain's Foreign Secretary naked into the conference chamber?
Eden.
Bevan. What name is given to the accumulation of rock debris carried on or left by a glacier?
Moraine.
Yes. One species of which bird is trained by fishermen in South China to catch fish for them?
Cormorant.
Correct. Which song by Purcell, best known from a 1929 recording by a Manchester children's choir, was part of his incidental music for Shadwell's play The Libertine?
Nymphs and shepherds.
Yes. Mammillaria, which are short, fatted, hairy, and Cereus, which are tall and stately, are species of which plant?
Don't know.
Which Greek goddess, a messenger of the gods, was normally portrayed in art with wings, her attributes being a herald staff and a vase?
Hebe.
The iris. What name is given to a glutinous wash applied to paper and parchment used mainly to prepare a surface for painting?
Scythe.
Yes. When the Lion Feeds, published in 1964 and featuring the twins Garrick and Sean Courtney, was the first novel by which South African writer?
Don't know.
Which of the apostles is credited with taking the gospel as far as southern India?
I thought that was Nestorius, or St. Paul, perhaps.
Thomas. In Coleridge's poem Kubla Khan, what was the name of the sacred river?
Alf.
Yes, you got in just in time. The Alf is what it was. You passed on 2 questions there. When the Lions Feed was written by Wilbur Smith, and Mammillaria and Cereus are species of cactus.
Wow.
So you had 8 points at the start of that round. You now have, Christopher Argyle, 16 points. And now Primrose Wood, if she would join us again. And you scored 9 points with your knowledge of British mammals, the fauna of Britain. I've been trying to avoid this, but with a name like Primrose Wood, you really should have chosen flora, shouldn't you?
I should have done, shouldn't I?
I do apologise for that. I had to get it out off my chest. What about the British countryside worries you? I'm thinking about, is the red squirrel doomed entirely, do you
Well,
think?
it certainly sort of needs protecting in its pockets. I mean, like the Isle of Wight. Let's hope we can keep the grey squirrel out from there. And
Because there are still reds on the Isle of Wight.
There are still reds on the Isle of Wight, and of course Cumbria. And there's still red squirrels in Scotland, but the greys do seem to take over when they come into competition. They're bigger and stronger and burlier.
And not as sweet.
Not as sweet.
No. You scored 9 points with your knowledge of British mammals. General knowledge now, 2 minutes. What was the name of the mafia family created by Mario Puzo in The Godfather?
Corleone.
Yes, in which Spanish city is the Casa de Pilatos said to be modelled on Pontius Pilate's house in Jerusalem?
Oh, I don't know. Toledo?
Seville. John Churchill, the successful commander at the Battle of Blenheim, was the first holder of which dukedom?
Marlborough.
Yes, which fictional doctor who lived in the country town of Puddleby on the Marsh was deserted by his patients because his house was full of animals?
Dr. Dolittle.
Yes, who lost to Angela Mortimer in the 61 All-British Wimbledon women's final, later becoming a radio and TV summariser?
Oh, Anne Jones?
Christine Truman. Which physicist, a close friend of Winston Churchill, was his scientific advisor during World War II and served as Paymaster General from 42 to 45?
Pass.
What name is given to the symbol that shows a product conforms to safety standards set by the British Standards Institution?
Kite mark.
Correct. What did Jeremiah Coleman first mill at Stoke Holy Cross Watermill near Norwich in 1814?
Presumably mustard.
It was. What was the name of Odysseus's dog, the only one to recognise his master on his return from the Trojan Wars?
Can't remember. Pass.
Who wrote the orchestral work Prélude à l'après-midi d'un faune, first performed in Paris in 1894?
Debussy?
It was. What is 10 degrees Celsius on the Fahrenheit scale?
Oh. 45?
50. Who wrote the political satire Riotous Assembly and its sequel Indecent Exposure, both set in South Africa?
Pass.
On the 24th of May 1844, what hath God wrought, a line taken from the Book of Numbers, became the first message sent over a long distance by what means of telecommunication?
Morse?
Telegraph. Ursus maritimus is the scientific name for which creature?
Polar bear?
Correct. The stems of which plant, sometimes potted today and grown indoors, were used by the Egyptians to make sails, cloth, mats, cord and especially paper?
Papyrus.
Yes, what did the... I've started, so I shall finish. What did the ancient Greeks call the state of the universe when things first came into being?
Chaos.
They did indeed. You had 3 passes there. The author of Riotous Assembly and Indecent Exposure was Tom Sharp. The name of Odysseus's dog was Argos. And the physicist, close friend of Churchill, was Lord Cherwell. You had 9 points. You now have 18 points. And now Jim Averill, if you would, please. So, 11 points on Paul McCartney. A great fan or just sort of vaguely interested?
No, big fan, yeah.
Because, particularly, the Beatles or something else?
Well, it was always my favourite Beatle anyway. Sort of got into Paul McCartney through Wings more in the 70s and then worked my way back to the Beatles, really.
Now, you're a postman, and there will be many people watching this programme who will say, what happened to our postal service? Especially if you live in some of the big cities like London. It is terrible now, isn't it? Sorry to do this to you, by the way, but you happen to be there.
I live in a small sort of provincial town. At our depot, it's improved, really. We've gone onto a system of a single-day delivery, so there's no second post. So all the mail comes in the morning. We have to sort it before we go out. And it's worked quite well, really. It's better than before, really.
That'll not make you any popular in the big cities. Right, 11 points, which is a big score. That's with Paul McCartney. Let's see what you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes, starting now. Which jazz musician had the nickname Satchmo?
Louis Armstrong.
Correct. Which future American president was captured by the British in 1781 when he was 14 and made a prisoner of war?
George Washington.
Andrew Jackson. What is the title of Mark Haddon's debut novel, winner of the 2003 Whitbread Book of the Year, which tells of an autistic boy investigating the murder of a poodle?
Pass.
Which city's Roman Catholic cathedral is sometimes known as Paddy's Wigwam because of its unusual design?
Liverpool.
Correct. In which sport is the Verve Clicquot Gold Cup competed for at Cowdray Park?
Polo.
Yes. Which independent non-party organisation was founded in 1965 to promote prosperity in British industry and represent it in dealings with the government?
Lonhro.
CBI. In Hindu mythology, what sort of creature is the Naga, the offspring of Kadru?
Sea serpent.
Serpents, yes. The Olympiastadion, where Germany's national football team have played many international matches, is situated in which city?
Munich.
Yes. In film, what was the name of the middle-aged Liverpool housewife played by Pauline Collins, who had a fling with a Greek taverna owner played by Tom Conti on the island of Mykonos?
Rita.
Shirley Valentine. The beach resort of La Jolla is just outside which California city?
Sacramento.
San Diego. Which poisonous plant has the scientific name Atropa belladonna?
Deadly nightshade.
Yes, a type of graffiti popular in the Second World War. What was the name of the figure with a bald head, a pair of eyes and a long nose appearing over a wall with the question, what? No...
Archer.
Chad. Which country singer who died in 2003 was nicknamed the Man in Black?
Johnny Cash.
Yes. Which office was held by Giovanni Battista Montini from 1963 to 78?
The Pope.
Yes. In James Joyce's novel Ulysses, who leaves his home at 7 Eccles Street with Stephen Dedalus on June the 16th, 1904, to undertake his so-called Odyssey?
Pass.
Henry VIII is buried with which of his wives in St George's Chapel, Windsor?
Catherine of Aragon.
Jane Seymour. And your 2 minutes are up. You had 2 passes there. It was Leopold Bloom who set off in James Joyce's novel with Stephen Dedalus, and the title of that Mark Haddon novel I was looking for was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time. You had 11 points. You now have, Jim Averill, 19 points. And now Brent Peeling, our final contender. And a whacking great score of 15 on Essex County Cricket Club. A fan, clearly.
Yes.
Forever, presumably.
Yes.
Right from the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you about your job as a financial analyst. What we can no longer do in the financial world is call our bank and have somebody we know answer the phone and ask them about our little problem.
Yeah.
Those days are gone. Isn't that sad?
I think it is a bit, yeah.
You're meant to say, no, it's terrific.
No, I don't hold any brief for banking. I've worked in banking for 18 or 19 years, but It's my job, and I guess like all our jobs, there's aspects of it that probably we don't all agree with.
HSBC Bank, which I gather is called the local bank.
The world's local bank.
The world's local bank,
Yeah.
right. That makes a difference, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
if we call its call centre, they're in India.
Sometimes, yeah.
Not exactly local, is it?
No.
I mean-
It is if you're in India.
It's. I do hope your bosses aren't watching. Right, you scored 15 points. In the lead with that score you were, so let us see how you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes. Which scientist, the creator of a humanoid brought to life by electricity, was created by Mary Shelley?
Dr. Frankenstein.
Correct. Which UK overseas territory is served by Mount Pleasant Airport, opened in 1985?
Hong Kong.
Falkland Islands. Which phrase used to refer to a seductive woman who lures men into dangerous situations literally means, in French, disastrous woman?
Siren.
Femme fatale. Which city is the capital of the former Soviet Republic of Georgia?
Tbilisi.
Correct. Whose first book of children's stories, The English Roses, published in September 2003, is based loosely on her daughter's school friends?
Pass.
Which rugby union playing country has the letters UAR on their shirt badges?
Argentina.
Yes. Who arrived unannounced by parachute in a field near East Kilbride on the night of the 10th of May 1941 with peace proposals designed to end the Second World War?
Rudolf Hess.
Yes. Which of the pre-Raphaelite artists painted the light of the world, symbolising Christ knocking on the door of the human soul?
Holman Hunt.
Yes. Which songbird of the genus Motacilla has pied, grey and yellow species native to Britain?
Wagtail.
Yes. Sir Thomas More wrote a life of which English king, which has ever since caused him to be regarded as a murderous villain?
Richard III.
Yes. Derived from the Surrey town where large deposits of it were discovered, what is the common name for hydrated magnesium sulfate, a white crystalline substance used as a laxative in medicine?
Epsom salts.
Yes. To which city did Mohammed flee from Mecca in 622 AD?
Medina.
Yes. Who wrote the novel The Queen and I, in which the Queen is forced to live on a Midlands council estate after a Republican election victory?
Sue Townsend.
Yes. In Greek mythology, who rejected Echo and was made to fall in love with his own reflection?
Narcissus.
Yes. Which conductor was principally associated with the Halle Orchestra from 1943 until his death in 1970?
Sir John Barbarolli.
Yes. Which branch of surgery is concerned with the manufacture and fitting of artificial limbs and joints?
Prosthetics.
Yes. Which former world boxing champion was known as the Cloners Cyclone?
Barry McGuigan.
Barry McGuigan it was. You had one pass there. That book of children's stories was based on Madonna's daughter's school friends. However, you have scored from your 15 another 14 points, giving you a total of 29 points. Well, at the end of that round, let's have a look at the scores. In fourth place with 16 points is Christopher Argyle. In third place with 18 points, Primrose Wood. In second place with 19 points is Jim Averill. And in first place with a blistering 29 points is Brent Peeling. Which means, of course, that Brent Peeling goes through to the next round and moves a step closer, perhaps, to becoming our Mastermind champion. Congratulations to him. Please join us next time for more Masterminds, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Tonight at 9 on BBC Two, the challenges faced by the West Coast Main Line in the railway keeping Britain on track.